The Mindscape. What is this? One of the many looming questions for possible Season 2 of The Acolyte. Judging by this scene, Chimera is familiar with the Mindscape, even having some modicum of agency while under its compulsion, but familiar enough as to be scared for Osha. Now, if you haven't seen my theory on Darth Plagueis' role in the shadows of the Brendok Experiment, just scroll a few videos down and you'll find it. Yes, I called it Brendok Experiment on purpose. Because who is this? And why do we never see their face? I believe that while Plagueis had not directly been involved or had been pulling the strings, he was very much interested in studying the Coven's ability to manipulate the Virgins on Brendok. You see, this Mindscape technique isn't unique to the Coven, because I believe this is the same Mindscape that Vader experienced in Vader 2017, issue 23. In Darth Vader 2017, issue 23, Vader is constructing his fortress on Mustafar with the help of an infamous Sith Lord who was a sculptor of the mind in his life, Darth Momin. By virtue of his mask, there's going to be a lot of parallel themes here. Through the mask, Darth Momin helps Vader construct a fortress that could tune the energies of the dark side Virgins on Mustafar to open the door to this Mindscape. Does this sound familiar? Is the Coven's fortress one such construction? Anyways, Momin betrays Vader, as when the fortress is complete and he opens the door to the dark side Virgins, the physical form of Momin, who had been sequestered inside this Mindscape, reunites with his spiritual form via his mask. Vader is able to dispatch of Darth Momin and peers into the Virgins, only to leave his physical body as his spiritual form enters the Mindscape, where he sees all of his fears manifest once again. His mother, Vader's shadow looming over his 9-year-old self, visions of the future with Ahsoka, the Jedi Council, Obi-Wan and Palpatine, and the death of Padme yet again, unable to be saved. Darth Momin existed between 1100 BBY and 1000 BBY, which means this Sith knowledge of the Mindscape was known, possibly even created by Darth Momin. Plagueis, as wise as he is, would have collected this knowledge, the manipulation of midichlorians, the tuning of Virgences, and accessing the Mindscape of a targeted individual. As Osha dons the mask, she likewise enters a Mindscape in which she too has a vision of the future, May killing Sol. But it was her she saw, which meant that by virtue of how this Mindscape works, it was also a vision of her worst fear, much like Vader. Chimera enters the Mindscape as a side effect of trying to remove the mask as his eyes go black, the same as Torben during Anaseia's takeover. Now there's the obvious callback to Sith techniques and sorcery when Anaseia says this.
Or because some would consider our power dark, unnatural.
So while Plagueis remains in the shadows, studying the Coven, studying Chimera, as he studies all of his experiments, he is also influencing their course of actions. This is the part of this theory that converges with my previous one. Plagueis had left the mask to Chimera as part of his experiment, to see what Chimera could do with it. Left him this edifice on this remote planet to work out of. Chimera describes the mask as a cortosis helmet with sensory deprivation. Little does he know, Plagueis was hiding just a bit more information about it. It allowed him to enter their Mindscape like Darth Momin's spiritual form had existed inside his helmet. This is when he whispered Sith nothings into Chimera's ears. If these theories prove to have some modicum of veritability, it would prove that all roads lead to Plagueis, that the Coven's creation of the twins was influenced by Plagueis, that the possibility that they were a dyad intrigued him, but he also shifted experiments as soon as he found out they weren't a dyad. And just to clarify the distinction between Osha and May and a dyad in the Force, in case you're confused, a dyad in the Force is two separate beings, one in the Force. Osha and May is one being, one symbiont, split. Osha and May could very well be the reverse. Instead of sharing power, they siphon it from each other. Notice that May is also tired after Osha kills Sol. And it kind of aligns with the extended version of their poem that they say to each other, I give and you give. And this is where we get to this question.
You are with me, I am with you. Who taught us that rhyme?
Who did teach them that rhyme? Again, all roads lead to Darth Plagueis. And so Season 2 of The Acolyte will delve into the expansion of Sith ideology through Plagueis' ruminations and experiments. The question remains, will Plagueis decide eventually, much like in the novels, that Chimera, once a promising prospect, now a Sith pretender, needs to die?